talk about how we became therapists.
Okay.
So, what made you want to be a therapist?
I mean, therapy really helped me. I feel like it changed my life. So I was like, yeah, it was like, that's it. I wanted to do something that helps people. I was really into like nutrition. And then I think just getting into therapy myself, like saw this more connection. Yeah.
I feel like I was such a baby when I chose to do this that I never had gone to therapy before. I mean, I was like 19, because I was my undergrad. So I was like, what do I want to do? And then I changed from pre-med to this. And it's funny because I'm like, I never went to therapy. I didn't know much about the field. I just knew that I want to help people. I'd be good at it. It had a flexible schedule for babies, like all these things. And the field was fascinating to me. I love people's stories and stuff. But yeah, like once I got into it, I was like, what is this job? It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
But if you never actually did therapy before, I mean, you're required to do it when you go to grad school and stuff. I think did they make you do it in your program?
No.
Oh.
No.
They made us do like,
I think I could get more hours if I did it, but I was already in therapy and I was just like, I'm already
you're good at
doing it.
Yeah. They like required you to like make sure you had done.
I mean, you should be a client before you're
I totally therapist. Agree. And I think I kind of had it backwards because I had started my training and then I had done therapy, and I wish I had like done therapy in my undergrad because I have ADHD and anxiety, and I was like, that would have really helped me.
I'm like, I needed it. I don't think I would have survived without my therapist.
How funny
in school.
I don't know. I was terrible. My undergrad was miserable in that sense. I was just like, how'd you survive? And I didn't, dude. Like, he had the best undergrad, and I hated it.
Yeah.
And then I went to grad school, and I was like, oh, it was great. But probably because I went to therapy and figured out, like, how to cope with some things. So.
Yeah, it's kind of an intense job sometimes. But
it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I just thought about that when you were saying, like, I had my own journey. I was like, I think I did it the opposite way.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Turned out okay, but it was very opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I went, that's why I'm like, I tried so many different things. I went to hair school.
I didn't know that one.
Yeah, I went to hair school. I dropped out.
Really?
Yeah. Worked at a Starbucks.
Did you not like the hair stuff then?
Oh, I wanted to be a hairstylist since I was like in 4th grade, and then I touched people's hair and I was like, no, I'm not letting somebody leave with a bad haircut. Like,
so like anxiety, like you couldn't like mess up their hair.
I could not mess up their hair, and I was like, I'd rather just talk to them about like their life or something.
Yeah, because then it's all in their control. Like I don't feel like I had a friend who would be like, I just feel like I have so much power, and I felt like the opposite when talking to people. And I'm like, this is your life. I'm just here to listen.
Yeah.
And it's so nice. But
some
people swap it in their heads and like, no.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did hair school.
Yeah.
I always said I would be an esthetician if I wasn't. Like, and so because I love skincare.
Yeah.
I think it's so fun. And like cosmetology. So.
Yeah. So I did that for a bit, and then I was like, no. And then, nutrition. And then it was like, this just still isn't it.
Yeah, I feel like because I had a nutrition minor, but I don't think it was like my calling to be a nutritionist.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think even just like that, there's like so much that in the mind that plays a role from even a nutrition standpoint that,
that's so
therapy.
True.
That was segue to therapy.
Yeah, I feel like that's so true.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Our journeys are so weird how we get places, but we're here. We did it.
Yep.
Okay, so if people are like in a room with you, what can they expect from you for a session?
I think I'm pretty chill.
We're like the complete opposite because I come on like, and you're like
pretty calm and relaxed and like consistent. But I mean, I think like as a client, at least, even me being a client in my own therapy, I think it's important that I've learned that there's like, a sense of humor going through like rough things, and that, I'm not here to tell you like what to do. I'm here to help like guide you with like what you already know. So, I don't want to say like I'm hands off, but I definitely like, meet you where you're at.
Yeah, you're like the calm chill one. Me come in and it's like, I don't know what I am, like a puppy dog or whatever. Yeah.
We're different.
Yeah, like my clients, like, I'm your wise best friend. But we've had multiple clients that comment who know both of us will be like, Taylor's styles is very different from Kayla's, and it's good.
You're way more like direct and blunt.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And I'm less. Sometimes I am, but I'm less. Like,
you'll do it when it's needed, but it's not like your regular style.
Yeah. I'm more like the
client
client knows internally like what they need or what they want, and I'm not here to like.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll deliver.
And I'm more of like I think it goes off your specialties too though, because like I started in addictions.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to be more of a challenging person in addictions, right? And then like getting some of the clients I've gotten over the years, I feel like it just kind of formed that like.
That's very true.
You know, like I will tell you when you've totally effed up.
Yeah.
I will tell you when like you got this, you know, like, but it's very black and white because I have those clients where I think it's doing the spectrum people too. You just can't like beat around the bush with them. You've had to just be like, you know, this is how it is.
Yeah.
So it serves people.
And I'm thinking even what you said, the like, because I like, you know, modalities that I use is like polyvagal. Yeah. So like, you know, I'm thinking even like the things that I say are from like a nervous system standpoint that like, you know, where are they? Where am I? And like how to help them. So sometimes even just like a blunt delivery is not helpful for, they might want it, but like it's not helpful for their like state of nervous system where they're at. Like it might push them. So I'm like pretty aware of like that too. Yeah, like where their nervous system is at. Yeah, it's so fascinating because your clients, you can be a little more sensitive than some of mine. I'm like, your nervous system is totally off. Yeah. So we're having to teach you how to reread your instincts again. So we kind of have to push you towards that and challenge it more. But I think it's fascinating because you can just see based off personality kind of like what you're drawn to or how you present. But I've always loved that. In training too, it was always like, all my professors would always joke, you're really good at making friendships with people. I'm like, and they're like, don't lose that, but it was rare. Yeah. So I always know like my style will be the unicorn style. Oh yeah. And it's fine. Oh yeah. But it's a good time. Yeah. You have a good time, but it's definitely a weird one. So you like polyvagal theory, what other techniques do you use regularly? I feel like I guess I'm like, obviously I think there's a level of like where you always are using this sense of attachment, like, but it's not necessarily always used in session, but it's kind of always there in my brain at least. I don't think people like realize there's a difference though, because they hear all these theories or techniques and it's like, I don't know, as a clinician, at least for me, I always have like the problem solving side versus like the presenting and intervention side. So like what actually you see me do in the room is different from like how I'm calculating the problems, you know? Yes. And that's where I think people don't realize there's a difference. Like attachment theory always runs how I see what's happened in their lives and they're like, but I'm not going to use and talk about attachment with them. Because I'm going to talk about something else. Yeah, so, you're going to be like, well, like, how's that relationship? How do you, you know, like you're going to talk in a lot more like normal terms. Right. Some people don't think you're actually doing therapy sometimes. At least I've had people like be like, are we doing something like that? Right, because I think you're talking, even like when you're talking about communication styles, that goes into attachment too, but we're not talking directly about. I'm not going to list you out the theories from a textbook. Right. But I think people are sometimes expecting that, but then they won't understand it if you deliver it that way, which is why people, I think, do get this too. Like, they're like, you make therapy so deliverable, so easy, like I'm making progress, but why? And it's like, because it's in your words. Like, we're just making it fit you and what's happening in your life. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and be like, that's a systemic problem. That's why you're doing. Yeah, no. So like, I feel like that's like kind of always there, but I don't feel like I talk about that with my clients often unless like they bring it up or it actually becomes like a more, you know, focus, but that's maybe just always in my head. Yeah. I always tease my clients it's like a serial killer count. do you remember like on the detective shows where there's like lines going everywhere that connects and like the clues? Yeah. And I got ADHD, so like my brain is always like connecting the things. Oh yeah. In like I can picture it in my head that way, be like this and this go together here, and feel like really like, well, that's how we're trying to solve the problems and figure out where it's coming from. But like, I'm not going to sit there and tell you my like map for you, right? Because it's going to be overwhelming. Yeah, like, no, because there's so, and that's what it's like. There's so many different aspects of a person's life that you know contribute to like maybe one thing. But that's what people don't understand. They think it's very cut and dry or very basic, and it's like no. It's very, very complex. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to ask this question. How frustrated do you get when people come up to you and be like, I could do your job?
I've never had that happen.
You've never had that happen? Ever?
No, knock on wood. I've never had that happen.
Okay, how would you react if people said that to you?
I'd probably say, okay, go do it then.
I love you.
Good luck.
Are you really like, have you ever had anybody be like, are you psychoanalyzing me right now? Or like,
No.
I feel uncomfortable around you because you're going to like read into everything?
No. I think I've had a friend be like, I asked them like how they were and they like didn't want to reply because they're like, you're not working. And I was like, what? I'm not like like I'm not
trying to be a friend.
I'm not your therapist right now. I'm just asking you how you are. Like, so that was like kind of funny, but nobody's actually like said,
that
like
that all the time. Or like your job would be just so easy. Like I could do your job, and it's like there's a lot that goes behind what we do that we don't like present. It's like
that's funny because I feel like a lot of people would say, "Oh my gosh, I can't do your job. Like what you do is really hard."
Yeah, I feel like
because I've gotten that.
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, actually, you know,
there's
some days that are harder than others, but like, you know, but I've gotten the opposite.
That's so funny. Yeah, I've gotten that like your job just seems like I could do that. And I'm like, okay, thanks, pal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
Or they analyze it. I'm like, well, it's like, okay.
I mean, that's kind of just like everybody analyzes everything.
Well, that's when like everybody.
You don't have to be a therapist to analyze,
right? And at the same time, I just tell people like, you don't pay me enough to do it, so unless you're paying me right now, I'm not going to analyze you for free.
Yeah.
And like they don't know what to do with that one, which I'm sassy, but I've gotten it so much where I'm like,
oh my god,
I'm just gonna offer free therapy for you, and maybe I want to be like a human, like once in a while.
Or I would probably do it and say everything, and they would be like pissed.
Did you ever see that Friends episode? Did you ever watch Friends?
Yeah.
It's where Phoebe was dating a therapist, and he was like being quiet.
Oh.
And then at the end, he analyzes the whole friend group, like he nails it.
Yeah.
So
see, if somebody like said that to me, I'd probably just do that, and then they would be like, "Ew, like you got it all right." And I'd be like, do you want to hear what I have to say or not?
Yeah, like maybe we should.
Yeah. That's funny.
I love that. I can't believe you never had that happen yet.
Not yet. I don't doubt that it might happen. But
it's true. I try really hard to just keep it quiet that I'm a therapist.
Oh yeah. When I went on a plane and
what do you say?
There was this guy who would not stop
talking.
And he was an older guy, and he just like, I think he was just really lonely, but he just kept talking. And like first it was like I think it was a 3-hour flight.
No.
And then I was just like, do I say that I'm a therapist or do I not? Because I'm going to get 2 reactions, and I'm unsure of
which one I want.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I did tell him, and then he like asked a million questions, which was just like, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, but it was just really funny that I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Half the time I just go and be like, I'm in the health field. Like, But then Mattson will spill the beans and be like, my wife is therapist. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, because you get kind of like 2 reactions from saying you're a therapist. It's either like a positive one or a really like negative one. And you're like, I don't know which one I'm ready for.
Have you noticed you get kind of judged for it too? And like, I don't even know how to explain it, but just like you're kind of a woo-woo like job, like it's not a real job, or it's like, oh my goodness, I honor you so much, and like both of them I don't know what to do. Like when you're like, oh my goodness, you're amazing, you're like, hey, thanks, I didn't do it for. Like I remember when I first got there, I was just like, I didn't do this to get attention. I just want to help people, and you don't know like what to do, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna like leave. Okay, so what does a day in the life look like for you as a therapist?
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's not like a weird. I've had like multiple people ask me that, like, or like, what does a session look like? I think because, like, going into it, a lot of people don't know what to expect. Like, it's like this unknown.
Like being a therapist, you mean?
Like being a therapist, but also like as a client, what can they expect? So I think like sometimes they just like are curious about my life or my day. Oh, they're so like
because they don't know. They don't really know parts of,
we know like what being a doctor is kind of, or like like basic general jobs, but like our job is just to people like this.
I mean, it's like it's like just like anybody else's.
I know your reaction.
It's just like anybody else's when they go to work. Like if they're working at home or if they're working in an office, like you just do your basic stuff that everybody else does, and then you meet with your client. And then you go home and, you
You
sit
do
on the
your
couch
life.
and you watch TV and you do all the same stuff that everybody else does.
But I love that you're saying it like that because I've had so many people like, I think like we get put on a pedestal sometimes of like, you must have everything together. You probably watch TV or you probably do all the hobbies you should do. And I'm like, girl, I like laid on my floor for 3 hours. Just be like, I don't want to move as my kid like climbs over me and it's like mama blocks,
Like, or in between sessions when you're like, I didn't do my notes. No, you're just like scrolling your phone.
Or you're just like kind of flopped out, just shoving food in your face really quick. Yeah. That's right. It's pretty normal for us to be. Or like half the time I'll be running from one thing to like sliding into sessions because we don't have like, I mean, as clinicians, I didn't know this when I first started, which I should have done this. You should have only had like 5 or 6 a day. I think I booked out to like 8 a day. Yeah, that's a lot. Oh my gosh. It was stupid. I like 3 or 4 now. Like with babies, I do 3. Yeah. Usually. Some days I'll go up to 5, but usually 3. What do you want to take? 5 a day?
5 a day is pretty.
5 a day. That's a lot. Like that's like your max, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we have days before that, which people don't realize, but it's like that's why people don't realize why we charge so much. I think. Yeah. It's because that hour takes a lot to go into that hour, and like that one client takes a lot of love.
Well, yeah, like I'm mentally like going into like your entire life and like looking in your perspective, and then like trying to come back into like my my life in my head and how I'm viewing things, and then going back into yours. Like there's just like a lot of mental energy that like like within the hour I'm like going back and forth. That I'm like, trying to do that for 8 different people is like insane.
But then
like,
we do it how many times a week?
Right.
And people don't realize it's like giving your heart and soul to somebody. And you're used like a vending machine. That's like the best example I have. Where it's like you're coming in and just zapping us. We're not a real person in that hour. We are you, your ally, trying to think better for you. So you can have your life go. Yeah. So like our whole well-being is kind of pushed aside.
A little bit.
It is, like we try and guard ourselves, but that's basically what we're agreeing to is like, you are more important than me in this hour. It's all about you. And that's what we're doing. And people don't realize how much time, effort, and thought before and after sessions go into like how many times have we met for like multiple hours talking about clients or like
just I have like sometimes I dream about like my client's situation and I'm just like, they probably have no idea that I'm like thinking about them, while I'm making dinner. Like I hope they're okay. Like,
it's a real relationship. And even though we like have to charge for it so we stay alive and have money for our life, like people don't realize like this is a real relationship. So
it just is more of like the one kind of like a one. That's what's hard is that it's not. It is one-sided and it isn't one-sided because like I am in the relationship, but there's only part of me that is in it because it's a professional relationship that like
it's really weird.
But it's weird
to describe that.
Right. So I'm like when people say it's a one-sided thing, I like I'm like, well, not necessarily because I am part of it. It makes me feel like I'm not part of it. If it's one-sided, like that would be all the client, which I don't think is accurate because I am part of it. But like there's no part where I'm telling you about my life or like where there's a reciprocation where like, I'm pretty open if like a client asks me personal information with like discretion, but like it isn't about me. It isn't about us. It's about you.
Yeah, like, you're not here to caretake us. We're here to caretake you.
So like, it is a weird.
It's a weird dynamic. How did you explain that? Yeah, like doing it as a therapist, did you have any like hurdles to go through doing it or like being able to, because I feel like I walk in and I separate like real Taylor versus therapy Taylor, right? Like real Taylor can like be this kind of thing. We go back and forth and like swapping.
I mean, I think that's with like any job though. Like you do that with any job that like there's the professional part of you and your work and then there's like the other personal part of you and like it's not black and white but like everybody does that.
But I love that you can word it.
Everybody does that.
I really love that you can word it that way because I don't think I've ever been able to like word it where like, so what? Like, you do it, I do it. You have to wear different modalities in different places, like be a different kind of part of yourself.
Because I'm like, I was a barista at Starbucks for so long, and I'm like, even when I did that, I was still this like, there's still a professional part of me coming out. There's not.
You're like, still Kayla barista, not Kayla person.
Yeah, like you're. It's normal for your personality to like shift when you go into different settings.
I love that. I think I've only, well, I really have. I mean, I've done other jobs, but they've always been related to this field. So I've only ever known like how it is to be in this field, fulfilling the roles and like variances, right? As like a professional. So I've never actually been like a barista somewhere. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, I still did the same thing. Yeah. So it's good you can like word it that way. Yeah. 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 But it's fascinating. People like will ask me like, what's your day been? And they, you know, they think I've just been in the office all day, and I'll be like, well, my little dude just threw up at me this morning and I was running errands, you know, like, like this whole story. And they're like, oh, you had like a whole day. Yeah. I'm a whole person. Let's talk about you. You know, like, it's fascinating.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I know. And then they go
your reactions. I'm like, not your reactions. I mean, like what you've been asked is just like kind of funny.
I got a good, 5 years on you? So yeah. Maybe 6. Yeah. That makes me so old. Funny. It's so funny. Yeah. So you get like just a lot of stories over the years. Yeah. Yeah. So I think sessions wise too, it just looks like this. Like, we're just talking.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So that helps people if they are wondering about sessions. It's just this.
Yeah. Therapy's fun.
Yeah.
It can be.
I think if you have the right clinician, like you can have a really good time. Yeah. I love that. So funny, all the differences for that stuff. Have you ever had like a client awkwardly say something to you? Like, you remember I had multiple clients, like I was just fat when I was pregnant the second time?
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
And they all told me that. And like afterwards, I thought you just gained a bunch of weight.
Oh my gosh, that's so awkward and funny.
I get like all the weird comments, and I don't know. I've gotten some zingers over the years. Like, my husband is always like, what do we get today?
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, like it's regular where he'll be like,
that's so funny.
And I don't know if it's like my personality.
You're the best friend therapist. So like people are just like straight up blunt and honest with you. But I'm like,
people like really don't filter with me at all because I make it so weird. Sometimes I'm like, you can filter like just a little. No. That one, like those crushed me a little bit. I was like, man, did I really look that bad?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So you don't get that.
I'm racking my brain where I'm like,
that's so funny.
No,
people are pretty put together with you.
No,
it just must be my personality brings it out. It's fine.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, and you've had clients probably for longer periods of time. Which makes them more comfortable.
I am seeing like ones that I had when they were like 5th grade, 4th grade. They're now like graduated or they're like
Well, and teens, I'm like teens say
dumb things, but like half of them come from adults, and it's really funny then because you're like, but you don't like quite know how to respond. That's like pretty funny.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite part of your job and least favorite part?
Oh my gosh, favorite part is definitely just the session with my client. Like, I just would rather be talking with you and like, you know, figuring out whatever you need to figure out. I hate writing the note.
Yes.
I hate writing the note about it.
Admin is the worst thing about our job.
Oh my gosh.
Worst thing.
It will be the death of me. I just hate writing.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Mine are the same.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think that's why we do this job though. Like my husband is a tech recruiter. And I was like, how do you sit in front of a computer all day? I mean, he talks to people half the time, but like still, like I need like something engaging. Otherwise, I just think I'd lose my mind.
Yeah, well, and like even just like writing notes, like, you know, you don't necessarily even include like all the details of like what happened. So it's so brief and like just
they're literally like 3 sentences, maybe 4.
So annoying.
But they are the biggest pain in our job.
Yeah. It's so boring.
CPS calls.
And dumb.
They just take time.
Yeah.
Things that just take like the extra time where you're like, this isn't doing anything for anybody besides like just what I have to do, you know, like for your job. It does get annoying. What's one thing you want to do in your career? I know, right?
That's a big question. What do you mean?
Like just a goal that you have or like something that you hope will happen while you're doing this job.
I feel like there's a lot of things, but I think, I mean, we've talked about it, like having more. I love doing groups. I think eventually, like, I'd love to be a supervisor. And yeah, I think teaching, like, even just teaching some sort of like I really love dance and movement and like, you know, nervous system regulation. So like teaching even like movement with that, I think would be so cool. Yeah.
I love that. Really good. We need to set up that class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this job is just like a forever, like, you're just forever learning. It's just you're
100%.
always in a state of learning about yourself. And so it's just like kind of this feeling where like you're never really gonna get there type feeling.
Yeah.
And
you should always feel
and just like being okay with like this forever learning process that like there's these like, you know, maybe some goals that you can get there, but you're never going to like, it's not like other jobs where like, oh, you made it to like this
manager spot,
or like the CEO or something,
or like you can program this stuff now. Like there's like this competency level people can hit.
Where like you can get that as a therapist, but like there's always more, and so.
But I think that's like what I loved and what drew me to the field the most was like there's always something I can do different.
Mm-hmm.
There's always, because I didn't want to get bored or stagnant in a job. And I don't feel like we ever will, because even just the stories that we come across every day, I'm like, you know, like there's been problems where I'm like, I've done this for 7 years now, and I'm still like, never seen this one before. Figure it out, or I have to reach out to Elizabeth and be like, you know, like there's been a few times where I'm like, I don't know what to do on this, and I love that about her job. Right? I love that concept, like Elizabeth training us, where you know you're never in it. You always want to feel a little bit like,
and like the idea that your therapist like knows everything and like has all the answers, or like does, you know, almost as this like perfect person where they like don't have problems in their life is so not true. Where it's like sometimes people come in and like, we also don't know just as much as you don't know. Like we're gonna help you figure it out, but like we don't have the answers either.
I think the coolest lesson I learned in grad school was they told us like, be real with who you are. So like being pregnant, it was freaking hard to be pregnant and counsel.
Oh my God.
And like there's one day where one of my clients just taped me off, and I had hormones, like, but like ragey hormones.
Oh my God.
And I just looked at them and was like, I am pregnant. I'm gonna rip your face off if you don't. Like, I know that's not appropriate. I am trying to be a therapist, but I'm a real human right now. And like that was the coolest lesson I learned in grad school, was like, you are still, as much as you try to be that person and set aside your own self, you're not gonna have those moments, and you need to be good at calling them out. And like you have your own growth, you have your own triggers, and like that was the first time I ever really had to be like, I am so angry right now. I'm trying to pull it in, you know? It was bad, but it was real. Like, and like he understood. He's like, oh, you're pregnant inside. You know, like,
because like,
like, what are you gonna do? I am pregnant. Like,
you know, we're not robots.
We do have.
If you want a robot, go to ChatGPT then.
But that's okay. I saw this thing too on Instagram today. Somebody posted where they were talking about like ChatGPT can't like mimic the hands that are like in the caves of people. And like, you know, like the cave art that they used to do. Like, and I think it's so interesting. Like, you're right. We're not ChatGPT. We're people. And if you want to actually learn about yourself, you learn it best through people who are also imperfect. So if we come up looking like we're perfect, we're not serving you or them. Like, it's just going to fail in multiple ways. But it's really hard sometimes.
I know. I see things like where ChatGPT can be like your therapist or whatever.
Have you seen any advice though sometimes? And I'm like, that was dumb.
It just feels really generic.
That's not,
It
like,
doesn't. It feels like it doesn't matter what somebody could have put in. It feels like a very, and maybe some of it's helpful of like generic, and then you
but
know.
It's very like CBT, DBT based versus a person can actually be like, like it feels like, you know, there's been so many times in a session I'll just be like, I don't know what I'm like picking up from you, but like you got a vibe going on today. Like, what is that emotion? And ChatGPT can't call that out. And like if they aren't self-aware enough to report to ChatGPT, then how are they going to get that reflected back to them? Which is the point of having humans. Like, or even like Kobo will call out emotions sometimes.
That's so funny.
He's so funny. Have I told you before? He'll like sit in front of me with certain clients that have really bad PTSD.
Really?
He'll guard me for like
I did
months.
Not.
He'll like, I've had it with like usually my war vets, and he'll like side eye him for the first 3 to 4 months until he decides they're like more stable.
Oh my God.
But he'll like watch them come in, sit his butt right in front of me, and like the whole session, like he's seen like Koa do whatever, and he'll He like walks around and stuff, and usually he's like laying there. No, he will sit in like crouch
Oh my
position kind of vibe.
Wow.
Like sitting there, like, hello, a whole session for like 3 months.
Wow.
And then he finally is like, okay, they're. And then he can sense their polyvagal theory, you know, like this stuff. So he like senses their system.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but he's been the cool one where I've learned a lot. Like your body system regulates. So like I watch him to tell me the instincts because I didn't have them at first, and he's been with me the whole time I've been a therapist. So I'd watch him, and then he would tell me like, oh, okay, this is like their vibe, and then based off his vibe, I would be like, let me figure it out.
That's so cool.
So I got a lot of my like instincts of like, this is the vibe you're carrying at my dog.
Oh my gosh.
It's the coolest thing ever.
Oh yeah.
Because I tried to not train that out of him. So like whenever he growls at anybody, I'm like, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is. Like I'm just gonna go the other way. And he's done it like 5 times in his whole life. And
wow.
That's Isn't that cool? Yeah. I was like, but then there's this book, I need to look it up. I don't know if you ever read it, but it was talking about like how our instincts have been washed out. I like read it in my grad school one.
I don't know what book it is.
I don't remember, but there's a lot of books like this, and where we need to like listen to our inner voice and our instincts, and that's where I got the idea of like Cobra. He's going to be my guide for like getting that back, and he totally was.
Oh yeah,
coolest thing ever.
Yeah, wow.
I know
that is cool.
Working with a dog has been really cool.
I know. I'd love to have a dog.
One day,
they're
the best.
Yeah,
he's 7.
That's wild.
I know.
Wow.
I know. It's crazy.
Aww.
He's like the best big brother ever.
Oh,
so he's obsessed with his sister. His brother sometimes makes him happy and makes him mad. It's just a love-hate relationship. But he loves my little girl.
Oh, Koa is the best.
I like him.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for your therapy? You that you want people to know? I know that's like such an open-ended question.
I can't think of anything.
How's it been? You've been 2 years now?
Almost
2 years?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How's it being a therapist for 2 years?
It's great. I think like, I think I'm thinking of the question of just like, there's just always like this sense of like growth that I just don't get bored with it. So I think it's just cool to be in a job where I'm not getting like bored.
Yeah, I feel like this is one that can entertain us forever.
Yeah.
Matson's always jealous of my job.
That's so
really funny, yeah. Yeah, he's like, I don't think I could ever do it. He wants to be on like the program side because that's my dream is like do programs.
Oh yeah.
Like what? Yeah. But he wants to like be one of the like supporter people, like the counselor people that aren't like therapists, you know, like helping run the programs. He'd be great at it.
Oh,
you met Matson. He would like personality wise totally vibe.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. He would have so much fun. But he's always just like, I'm so jealous. Like
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it always makes me like grateful I did it.
Yeah. What would be the main program or like group that
I love nature stuff. Like that's always been like my safe place and my happiness. So I think I want to do a nature one. Like I'm looking at the water right now. Like, I would want to do something like that, like camp or something like that. And in Hawaii, my parents have a house in Waimea, and that's where I want to take the programs too, because they have a lot less resources on the island.
Yeah.
But then now that we're a part of the community and like have the people we can get in easier, then like
Holly's so cool. Oh
so cool. So my dream is to start it here, get the wellness, and I want like we have the yoga one paired, and then if we do the dance one and like keep getting these wellness centers paired here, and my goal is to take it over there eventually and help those island kids who have less resources.
Yeah.
And be able to do that, but we'd have to do nonprofit.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be so cool if we could do nature therapy for them and like be able to connect to their, self-awareness in themselves.
That'd be so fun.
Through just doing stuff outside. I know. Yeah. Like my social skills group is a group where they can do, I think today we're going to like bake cookies for social skills, right? But like they're doing day-to-day things that they normally do with their friends. But
it's just kind of connecting more to even just like the activity too. And like, just being more present. Yeah. Instead of
and like being able to navigate it socially, like, and that's the kind of programs I love doing. It's like normal, typical stuff we do day to day. Yeah. That's just like, how do you navigate it mentally and like how aware are you? Like I was listening to this book on the way over here and it's like mindfulness is all about like just self-awareness basically. Like, are you tracking what's going through your head? And 99% of people aren't.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, we taught teens that, and how much slower they want to
I
issues
know.
would be. Like,
Yeah.
so much better. So one day we're going to do that. And I think it'd be awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah, we can run it together.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. And then I want to do something with animal shelters.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been kicking around this idea, and we need to figure out how to start it. Like, Koa has some products that we've like made, and I want to make them and then donate to the shelters in Hawaii because they
like
don't
what products?
like shirts and stickers and stuff. You know, like things that are because Koa like his command is give loves.
Oh yeah.
For his therapy command.
Yeah.
So Give Loves line where people can buy the items, but then some of the proceeds go back to like supporting animals that are homeless. Because I know it's like so cute. He's such a loving dog that I'm like, he deserves to have a legacy after him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of my goal, is to build his legacy. Like,
Definitely.
that's what Umari was built around, was baby Koa. So.
Baby Koa.
I know. I'm like, he's old. He's fine. He's not gonna die. Never.
No. Oh my god. I don't want to think about that.
I know. It's so, we got a lot of dreams. That'll be good.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. One day we'll get you a dog.
Yeah, one day.
All right, my friend. Thanks for letting me interview for intro to you. And kind of just chat. Cool. It's great. Okay. We can end it.